Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Wednesday, August 14th, 2024. Making the headlines tonight, the GOB says new University Hospital location is more ideal. Chief Engineer says University Hospital location sits between two flood-prone areas, and Transport Minister to get a fourth CEO as Dr. Middleton is resigning. We take our first break and return at the news in detail.
The hurricane season is here. Are you prepared? Get the essentials you need to stay safe this hurricane season, such as plywood, tarp and rope, first aid kit, rubber boots, raincoats and rain ponchos, generator, portable radio and batteries, flashlight and kerosene lanterns. Weather the storm with these products and more from Benny's. Quality and savings.
Upcoming enhancements to My Social Security. The new healthcare provider feature seamlessly connects healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers to facilitate the payment of sickness benefits. Here are the enhancements. Registered healthcare providers will create and submit online medical certificates using their healthcare provider accounts. Insured persons will receive a link to view the medical certificate to complete and submit their sickness benefit claim. And employers will receive an email notification of their employee's sickness claim. Also, the insured person and their employer will receive a copy of the claim decision letter after review. Healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers are encouraged to create a portal account to access and benefit from these new services on My Social Security at ssbportal.org.bz. My Social Security online portal. Social Security at your fingertips.
Welcome back with your news. I am MarKeisha Young. The government of Belize today issued a lengthy statement on the purchase of almost 15 acres of private property for the construction of the new tertiary hospital in Belmopan. The two parcels were bought at $6.9 million from Anizu and Kenizeng. While the government release notes that the final price paid was less than what was being requested by the landowners, the release does not reveal that it was over $3 million more than the government's own evaluation. We have, however, the release states that the landowners wanted way more. Our reports are they were seeking over $9 million based on their private valuation of the land. In providing the cont for the Free University of Belize land, which was the original site proposed for the teaching hospital, the release states that the land is 9 kilometers away from the George Price Highway and would require travel through residential areas. It currently lacks water and electricity, and the government would have had to purchase land to build the required access road. The release also cited the difficulty of hospital staff getting to and from the location. In the case of the pros of the new land, the release states that being along the George Price Highway, it will be more easily accessible and is located near the Belmopan airstrip, which would allow for easier airlift. It adds that with this option, UB will get to keep its land access. The release states, open quote, together with the University of Belize, a top-notch healthcare facility and teaching hospital will be constructed in an ideal location that meets the diverse needs of our population and enhances the overall healthcare landscape in Belize, end quote. Dr. Osman Martinez, former Minister of Economic Development, CEO, who was part of the negotiations in relation to the $90 million Saudi loan agreement for the hospital, was asked about the change in location.
The main thing with investments is that you have to look at empirical data and scientific studies. And if the scientific studies call for a decision, then it's important to note that a decision, as hard as it may sound, we will have to execute it because the investments is a lot of money. So whenever you have a huge investments, that's the reason why you will have feasibility studies. That is the reasons why you will have why you will have experts, to guide you. And I am sure that the Ministry of Health have received all these studies and recommendations from the experts. So it's important to be objective when you look at these things. Why? Because, like in Spanish we have a saying, lo que comienza bien, termina bien. Whatever you do good from the beginning, it ends well. And so it's important that when we do big investments, that it's done well from the beginning.
Today, we asked CEO in the Office of the Prime Minister, Narda Garcia, about the move, and she told us she did not know much about it because her focus is private investment.
Do investment, but I do private sector investment. That is public sector investment. So I'm not very intimate with the process. I do know it's a Saudi loan, and I know that the Saudi loan is led by the Saudi people, and I know that the design of the hospital and all of that is being done through the Saudis, that they're going to start the process for bidding for contractors, but that is as much as I can tell you, because I do mostly private sector investment. Public sector investment is done by the Ministry of Economic Development.
I thought since that falls under the Prime Minister's portfolios, I thought that you would know.
No, I don't know. I know some. Like I said, I know where it is, how much it is, the part of the process that has started, but I don't know more than that.
Because obviously people are questioning how is it justified that you spent $460,000 per acre of land to move this hospital, whereas you had free land?
Yeah, I understand that Dr. Sabida was on Channel 5 this morning, and I think he's more technical in that area to comment on the move. I learned from the move from the media, actually, from the media. So that's as much as I can tell you.
Based on the abridged versions of the valuations from both parties, we note that both private and government valuers use $100,000 per acre as a baseline for an acre of land in the area based on a lot of sales in 2020. The landowners reported that they intended to do a residential subdivision in the area and would get 6 lots per acre. They were able to show that a lot had gone from $65,000 in 2018 to $75,000 the next year, and then $100,000 in 2020. The landowner's valuation for the two parcels totaled $9.3 million, while the government's totaled $6.14 million. To repeat, the government paid $6.9 million for the two parcels. Minister of Education Francis Fonseca was asked about the University of Belize land no longer being used.
Yeah, well, I've made it very clear from the beginning that UB has the land. We have always been prepared to make that land available to the hospital. The Ministry of Health came to the cabinet, the technocrats gave an extensive proposal and presentation to cabinet. And our view was, we have to accept what these technical people are saying. So that's our position. I should make the point because I think it's important that people feel like the land at UB is free. That's not the case. It would have required a few $1 million investment to upgrade it and to get it prepared. But of course, the argument is that's your university, so it's a good investment to make. So, that's the point. But certainly from the Ministry of Education, we have consistently supported having the hospital placed on the university campus. And that was the position of the board of UB. But, we can't tell the Ministry of Health what to do. They are the technical people, and they felt that the interests of the people of the West Belmopan would be better served by moving the hospital location.
But, and you are a veteran political administrator, one has to always be aware when preferred friends of the government land is purchased from them. How did they become aware of the land? Did they say, oh man, this land right beside the switch and in a really low-lying area that flood prone? Perfect. Right? Like, how are these assessments made?
No, well, you're asking me about things that I don't know about. That would have to be directed to, I don't know. That would have to be directed to the Ministry of Natural Resources. My understanding is that they reviewed, they looked at the land, and the Commissioner of Lands and Surveys, whatever, gave an opinion on the matter. I think they got private sector people to do as well. So again, the Ministry of Health, they have to make a determination. And as I can tell you, even in cabinet, when they made the presentation, I made the point to the technical people. It's important for you to explain in a very clear way to the Belizean people why you are making this decision. I made that point to them. That's several months ago. So I think that has, I think as you pointed out, an extensive release, I believe, was put out. So I don't think we're hiding anything. Whatever information is needed should be made available to the public through the media.
What is Mr. Zeng's friendship with personalities associated with the government? Was that a prevailing influence on the selection of this property?
I don't know Mr. Zeng. I don't know anything about Mr. Zeng. So I don't know if he has any, you're saying he has relations with people in the government. I don't know. I absolutely don't know. I've never seen or met the man. So
One of the reasons provided by the government for the change in location of Belmopan's new tertiary level university hospital is proximity to the nearby highways as opposed to the free land it had access to on the University of Belize compound. But is this easy access to the highways limited to just days of dry weather? Chief Engineer Evandale Moody cautioned that the proposed location of the capital's new tertiary hospital sits between two flood-prone areas, plus a section of the George Price Highway near the location will eventually need a bridge to prevent cutting off access to Belize City during periods of flooding. Moody explained more.
To some extent, in the past it used to flood because where we built the roundabout at Guanacaste Park, that area was prone to flooding. And so what we did, we lift that area in terms of the road alignment so that we could be above the floodplain. So if that is within that area, then it's in close proximity to that area that used to flood. Yeah, but it hasn't flooded recently because we installed some huge box culverts at that intersection just before entering the roundabout.
But then again, like you said, the climate change.
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. But I'm more concerned about the Mount Pleasant one because I know that will cut off entrance into Belmont Pond.
Okay, so that means the hospital will be built between two flood areas.
Yeah, more than likely, yes. Yeah.
Dr. Gilroy Middleton is resigning as Chief Executive Officer in the Ministry of Transport, which falls under Minister Rodolph Ferguson. Middleton was the third CEO in that ministry. The first was Marconi Leal Jr., who departed, that is, after differences with the minister. He was replaced by Adele Katsim Sanchez, who was then moved to Human Development during a reshuffle by the Prime Minister upon the departure of Foreign Minister Iman Courtney. That was when Dr. Middleton was moved to Transport. There is no word yet on who will replace Middleton to become Minister Ferguson's fourth CEO. We are told Middleton is going back to the University of Belize, where he was a professor. At the beginning of the month, the customs broker complained about delays in getting containers out of Port of Belize. He pointed to the continuous equipment malfunction. The port management subsequently explained that 2 of 3 pieces of yard equipment were out of operation, one of them due to an accident. Today, we asked CEO in the office of the Prime Minister, Narda Garcia, if we can expect an upgrade to the port anytime soon. It has been 8 months since the government bought over the port. Her response indicates that any upgrades to the cargo section will not come anytime soon, and raised what the Prime Minister told us, that they were working with a consultant to look at the future of the port, whether it will remain only for cargo or they will expand it to include a cruise terminal.
What I understand, Marisol, the port is being looked at by government to see what they're going to do with the port. There's no doubt there has to be an upgrade in the cargo side of it. But I think there's still a proposal to do cargo and cruise at the same location. But again, we have some environmental issues there, any which way you put it. So I don't know. I can find out and see at what stage they are to be able to comment. Perhaps maybe Minister Mala is more in tune with what is happening there. I know he wants the cruise port to come on stream, but it's also extremely important that our cargo side of it is upgraded and is technology takes over for a lot of what is happening there. It's only.
After the break, why didn't Dr. Osman Martinez get placed back under economic development? Stay with us.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
Upcoming enhancements to My Social Security. The new healthcare provider feature seamlessly connects healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers to facilitate the payment of sickness benefits. Here are the enhancements. Registered healthcare providers will create and submit online medical certificates using their healthcare provider accounts. Insured persons will receive a link to view the medical certificate to complete and submit their sickness benefit claim. And employers will receive an email notification of their employee's sickness claim. Also, the insured person and their employer will receive a copy of the claim decision letter after review. Healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers are encouraged to create a portal account to access and benefit from these new services on My Social Security at ssbportal.org.bz. My Social Security online portal. Social Security at your fingertips.
Design Depot is celebrating its 3-year anniversary. This May, get a chance to paint your entire home for free.
Free?
Free? Free? That's right. For 3 months, Design Depot is celebrating its 3-year anniversary with 3 lucky winners. Increase your chances to win with every $100 spent, all while enjoying exclusive store-wide specials and unbeatable deals on your favorite brands. Stay tuned to unlock June's extravagant prize. What are you waiting for? Shop now and join in on the celebration. You can be the next lucky winner. Some restrictions may apply. Design Depot. All
As CEO in the Ministry of Economic Development now, a representative, Dr. Osman Martinez, was instrumental in opening up avenues for Belize to successfully access climate change and green finance. Upon his designation as Minister of State for Foreign Trade, Dr. Martinez was asked about not being returned to economic development.
Remember that once we are elected, we serve at the pleasure of the Prime Minister. And he is the one who will decide where each individual is more fit to serve. And in this case, he believed that I am more fit to serve in the Ministry of Foreign Trade, then I will do it. But based on your question, I think that the Ministry of Foreign Trade and the Ministry of Finance, they complement one another, and the Ministry of Economic Development. It requires a lot of, when you look at economic development, it's not only about grants, you know, that is one of the things that we champion, but it's also about planning, it's about coordination, it's about dictating the pace of economic growth and development, it's about data analysis. In this case, no, we will be doing maybe is executing now what we were doing at and all the planning and coordination that was being done at the Ministry of Economic Development. Now at the Ministry of Foreign Trade, we will be able to implement it because there is a trade deficit, for example, that needs to be, a gap that needs to be closed. There is more opportunities in terms of negotiating with our countries. There is also the investments in terms of getting the Pacific Corridor and the Atlantic Corridor connected through Belize. Also all these connections in terms of using Belize or geographically, you know, Belize is well positioned to become a good trading partner for the southern part of Mexico, Central America and the Caribbean. Yeah. And so these are the things that we need to look at, that now it's about implementing what we have planned and coordinated at the Ministry of Economic Development.
In related news, Minister of Education, Honorable Francis Fonseca, started out 2024 with a much heavier workload taking off the Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade portfolio after the departure of Iman Courtney last year, December. Today, he expressed relief that newly sworn-in Representative Dr. Osman Martinez will come on as Minister of State for Foreign Trade.
No, I'm very happy to have Minister, newly sworn-in Minister Osman Martinez join us at the Ministry of Foreign Trade. You know, as you all know, the appointment of ministers of state is solely a matter for the Prime Minister, but he was gracious enough to discuss it with me a few weeks ago, and you know, and we agreed that he could serve a very useful purpose there. He has, over the past 3.5 years, developed, I think, a very good community working relationship with our international partners, working as a CEO at the Ministry of Economic Development. So we'll put that to good use at the Ministry of Foreign Trade. And as you said, you know, I have so many other responsibilities. I certainly welcome the opportunity to share some of that load with someone I believe is very competent and who will be able to, I think, support me ably.
As we reported last week, a Belizean delegation attended the 6th meeting of the Belize-Guatemala Joint Commission at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Guatemala City. According to Belize's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they received updates on the Plasencia Agreement signed, that is, they received updates on the Plasencia Agreements signed in December 2014, but they, open quote, consider the pathway for implementation of new agreements, end quote. The statement on X, formerly Twitter, stated, open quote, its aim is to advance the bilateral agenda while promoting good neighborliness and cooperation, end quote. Today, we asked the PM CEO, Narda Garcia, what those new agreements might be.
I know that there's a delegation going at the end of the month to Guatemala. And I believe that the ideas or the concepts that are being discussed will be discussed there, but I am not aware of what it is. I know we have the 14 points that were signed in Placencia very many years ago, and nothing much has been done, and I think that they want to probably accelerate that, but of anything new, I can't comment. I think CO Mai would be a better person to ask.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Francis Fonseca today provided an update when the press asked about Belize's position on the Venezuela election scandal. He noted that Cabinet discussed the matter again this week, but opined that the OAS has no jurisdiction on Venezuela.
Yeah, well, one resolution was tabled a few weeks ago, and there's discussion about another resolution being tabled sometime this week. Belize's position has consistently been to abstain on these resolutions. Venezuela is not a member of the OAS. They withdrew from the OAS in 2019. So the view of CARICOM, and we generally try to support a CARICOM position on these matters, the view of CARICOM is that the OAS really does not have jurisdiction over Venezuela. We abstain on these matters. There's no clear consensus in CARICOM on this matter. A few countries, are supporting these resolutions. The great majority of countries, I think the last time around 3 countries supported, and I think 8 countries abstained, and 1 or 2 countries didn't participate at all in the votes. They didn't show up. So I think that's where we are, but I can tell you, I can report to you that we discussed the matter in Cabinet yesterday. And the Cabinet's position is that Belize should abstain on any proposed resolution this week that is tabled this week in the OAS.
Are you aware if SICA has been maybe discussing this issue as well too?
Not yet. SICA has not discussed it. Again, SICA is in a very, difficult situation right now. So we've not been having regular meetings for some time. There's a move now to try to change that. But again, there has been no specific discussion on this matter.
In other news, marine conservationist Robert Pott was a guest on the morning's WUB Morning Vibe show, or CREM Radio and XTV. Pott says that many of our wild animals are being fed as a means to lure them out so they can be viewed by tourists. While he can't say that this led to the recent shark attack in Belize's waters, he says that it is an ongoing issue that should be raising alarm.
I don't want to cast aspersions on the tourism industry, but we've seen in multiple cases where, because tour guides want to get a tip, they will do unconventional and unwise things. My experience is, as far back as 2006, we were trying to get the tour operators out at Blue Hole to stop feeding the sharks. Belize Audubon put up a big sign, and they have changed it multiple times. It got old, and it's big enough where, as you walk onto Half Moon Key, you see Belize Audubon advising the guests and the tour operators that it's not wise to feed sharks. And it's not only sharks. You hear people feeding crocodiles out at San Pedro. Mm-hmm. We know the snake man when we're around Alton, huh? Mm-hmm. Get bite multiple times, and yet nobody wants to stop this man from...
He came on a lot of pressure, though.
Right, but you see a trend where people are doing these ludicrous things. They're even feeding the howler monkeys. And then when the howler monkeys come and get aggressive because you have food in your hand.
Pott said that once accustomed to being fed, sharks would seek out people for food, which led to them being fished and killed. He said that this practice is dangerous as the shark population could deplete rapidly. He also finds it a problem that harmless species such as nurse sharks are fed by humans.
I don't have the latest information on this particular case. So I can't speak on this case. But logic would tell you that if you are feeding sharks, and worse if you've been doing it for multiple years, they call it habituate. You get the animal used to a certain movement. Rachel Graham from Mara Alliance out at San Pedro did a study. And as the sharks heard the boats coming into Blue Hole, she set up sensors. She could detect the sharks coming into Blue Hole. They're coming in to feed, like fowl come when you're calling.
Right. So they've been programmed that
they're programming these sharks.
Engines,
food. Splash.
Food.
And then you hear people in the fishing industry saying, time to kill shark. Right. And the data shows that we've been eating out the sharks. Right. Because sharks are one of those species that if you fish them hard, much like Nasa grouper, much like some of the other species, you could fish them out, you could kill them out. So killing them out is not the answer. I'm hoping.
After the break, Belize is importing fish for restaurants, and Queen Kendall dethroned amidst allegations of bullying. Stay tuned.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize.
It has long been said that the fish population in Belize's waters has been dwindling over the years. Overfishing, particularly illegal fishing by fishers of neighboring countries, and loss of habitat continues to be a leading cause. But has it reached a point that fish needs to be imported to meet the local demand? Marine conservationist Robert Potts, while on today's WUB Morning Vibe show, discussed the topic and how it has led to the increased cost of fish for Belizeans.
That is one of the issues that we would want to address. We want Belizeans to have access to fish. We can't be exporting fish and then our local consumers, because we pay tax, we should have fish.
Yeah, I think the exporting of fish is something that has to be looked at as a practice whose time has come to be finished with. I am surprised that there's no, that conversation, at least maybe it's taking place in quarters where you are, but it's not a conversation that we are hearing.
Not fast enough, not fast enough. And anybody, if you go down and you talk to any one of the vendors.
Now we are importing fish from Vietnam for restaurants. Like,
that's ridiculous.
So
it's ridiculous.
The fish you're getting in your restaurant, I'm afraid to tell you, a lot of it is not done in a Gabonese passport.
That's the reality that we are living. And the vendors down at Vernon Street will tell you that the icebox is waiting on Vernon Street to be shipped to San Pedro. So that means San Pedro don't have enough fish. And they're coming and taking fish from Belize City consumers.
And
that's who we are competing
that means
with.
The price now starts to go up. Natural.
I cannot buy fish when I go to Vernon Street. But I have to make sure I go on a special connection.
And it's not as if though that means that our fisher folk are making more money, because the statistics indicate that we have somebody.
They make less than when they sell to us, because the big buyers will say, I am buying in bulk. So you give me a better price.
Right. Now, back to the...
News from the Queen of the Bay is expected this time of year. However, a surprise twist, the Association of Former Queens and the National Queen of the Bay Committee released a statement today that reigning queen, that is Kendall Morgan, has been dethroned. The release notes, open quote, "This decision has resulted after Ms. Morgan on several occasions violated the terms of her contract, which was signed on November 23, 2023. In addition, there were various verbal warnings given to her for instances of bullying, cyberbullying, and general discourteous and disrespectful behavior." End quote. The release does not detail any of the actions Morgan is accused of. However, many have since come out to show support for Morgan on social media since the news broke. Among them are Miss Earth 2021, that Morgan is not a bully. However, it is important to note that from before last year's Queen of the Bay pageant, there were rumors circulating that Morgan had displayed such behavior. However, like these latest accusations, no examples or explanations were publicly given to support the claims. While the organization is stripping Morgan of the crown, it assured that she will get to keep all her awards, including the UB Scholarship and titled House Lot. For the final weeks of her reign, last year's runner-up, Keely Fox of Placencia Sand Creek West, will assume the crown and duties. The organization in their release also stated that, open quote, "We do wish Ms. Morgan all the best in her future endeavors. Even at this stage, both the association and the committee are here to support her if and when she decides to accept the help," end quote. As for Morgan, she has not directly commented on her dethronement, but has posted a few times on her Facebook page vaguely addressing the issue. On Tuesday, she posted, "No need to make the situation bigger than it is. We're bigger than this, my family," end quote. Earlier today, following her dethronement, she posted, open quotes, my God is bigger than anything I face," end quote. To our knowledge, it is the first time such a dethronement has occurred. A sports camp for persons with disabilities is being held this week in Belmopan. The camp is a collaboration between Special Olympics Belize, the National Sports Council, and the Belmopan City Council. The camp ends on August 16th and highlights the new Special Olympics Belize branch in Belmopan. City Councillor Corette Banner spoke of why the City Council chose to assist with the camp.
Collaboration is important because we want to cater for everyone. So this summer the council hosted different sport camps, and so we wanted to include everyone, cater for people with disabilities as well, that they have an activity or an event where they can come out and have fun, play sports and have fun.
So can you give us a rundown on some of the things that participants are doing?
So at the camp we play games such as basketball, football, bocce, and we have some track and field activities as well.
And the replacement of the Joe Taylor Bridge at the entrance of Punta Gorda, Toledo is halfway completed. The project, which is expected to be finalized in December, will see the existing one-lane structure replaced with a two-lane higher structure, complete with walkways. Chief Engineer Evandale Moody spoke more of the ongoing project.
Punta Gorda, we have made significant progress with that bridge structure as well. In terms of works completed, we're about 55% completed. We have built the pedestrian crossing. We have constructed a barge to alleviate traffic in that area, so we still have movement of light vehicles traversing that area. We have begun the demolition of the existing bridge. So we have removed the deck, and at this current time the contractor is moving the truss structure that is there, which will be transported to the Ministry of Infrastructure compound in Punta Gorda. All the technical members for that bridge has been fabricated. The beams and the piles, those are at mile 12 on the Philip Wilson Highway where the contractor's fabrication yard is. And so the plan is for him to start installing the piles for both abutments and also for the pier, and we expect to have this bridge completed by December.
Has there been any setbacks with the Joe Taylor Bridge specifically?
Not really. The only thing is that we had asked the contractor to hold off on the dismantling of the existing structure because we were going to have elections within that area, and we didn't want to create any havoc or any problems in terms of the movement of personnel within the Punta Gorda municipality, and so we had asked the contractor to hold a little bit. So that's the only delay, but in terms of construction activities, no, we haven't had any issues with that.
And with that, we have come to the end of our newscast. A repeat can be viewed on this station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join us again tomorrow for another news broadcast. I am MarKeisha Young. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.